Hi betting experts, now we're going to take a look at the Aintree Grand National, 4 o'clock, Saturday the 5th of April. The 2025 renewal looks wide open and competitive. I think the bookmakers currently offering around 8-1 the field, priced up betting very competitively our sponsor. The ground, well, it's bound to be on the softer side of good. They never let it be any quicker than that these days. The days of Mr. Frisk running around on a cricket pitch are a distant memory. Last year it was pretty testing. The year before, good to soft. I'm thinking it'd probably be good to soft. The top Irish yards are completely dominant. I think it's very hard to see an English trained winner. I'd be surprised if they troubled them. We've got our selections and we're going to look at most of the runners with realistic claims. Our 1, 2, 3. Well, first of all, I think that the standout bet is Vanillier from the Gavin Cromwell yard. Now, Gavin is one of the best trainers in Ireland. He's starting to get the attention he deserves. He's always been incredibly accurate when the money's down. He comes here fresh from winning the Gold Cup at the Cheltenham Festival with Factor File, and this smart stay has been campaigning with Aintree in mind all season. He's been running in cross countries. He routed the field one start back on heavy ground, which I've always thought he probably doesn't want. He's a very smooth traveller, and I think good to soft ground be his absolute optimum. Last time out, he posted a really good trial for this race when finishing a very unlucky third behind Stumptown in the cross country at the Cheltenham Festival. I think he'd have won that race quite comfortably, but his rider took the wrong course early on and went from being in the lead to being virtually last. I think he lost about 15 lengths and basically all chance. For him to finish third, it was a very eye-catching effort. Now, he's got lots of Grand National experience in the book. He did disappoint last year. That was maybe at a time when the yard was a bit quiet and the ground was too testing for him over this trip. But if you look back to his effort in 2023, he finished second behind Corak Rambler, and it always pays to re-watch these nationals when you're looking for future Aintree winners. I think he should have won. He was given a very confident ride. He was still nearly 15 lengths down, jumping the last, and ran on very strongly. So these conditions, no bother at all, as long as it doesn't get too testing, which at this stage that looks very unlikely. He's around about 12-1. I think he's bound to run really well, perhaps play each way with the concessions. My second choice is Iroko, who's around about an 8-1 chance. Perhaps the juice has gone out of his price a touch, but I do think Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerrero are a training team well worth following in the coming years. He's definitely the brightest hope for the English trainers anyway. He's an unexposed young chaser who looks like he should be well suited by this 4-mile, 2-furlong trip. There's loads more improvement to come over fences. He's only run 7 times in his life, and he went into every notebook in the land when a very disgracefully tenderly handled fourth at Cheltenham in January, and last time out he bumped into Grey Dawning at Kelso, again shaping really nicely. My one slight doubt about him might be his lack of experience and his jumping in this huge field, but I think he's probably a horse who could be a class above these rivals if everything clicks for him. I don't want to back him each way. I think he'll either win or fall or bomb out altogether, but he's a very exciting horse. If you can find double figures, maybe win only, he's one to save on. And my third pick at a much bigger price for those who want to play each way at 50-1, Minella Indo. Now, the stats boys won't fancy him. He's a 12-year-old. That's far too old to win a Grand National, but he's got plenty of high-class form in the book. He's actually only run 20 times over fences, 6 wins. He's fresh. He's been very lightly campaigned at a time when the de Bromhead yard had been very quiet. He ran a screamer in this race in 2024 behind Iron Maximus, and I'm sure he'll give his running again. We'll spin through the rest of the market in price order, really. Intense Raffles, who's been gambled on anti-post, trained by a small trainer, Thomas Gibney. He's done really well with him. He posted a good trial for this race when second behind Nick Rocket in the Bobby Joe at Fairyhouse in February. He won the 2024 Irish Grand National over 3 mile 5. I'm not sure he's certain to stay the extra 5 furlongs at Aintree, but obviously he's improving, he's young, he ticks plenty of boxes. I just don't think he makes any appeal given his lack of experience at the track at around the 8-1 mark. Stumptown, 10-1 at the moment with priced up bet. He's another one I don't fancy at all at the prices. He won the cross country at Cheltenham, but he didn't jump particularly well. He was under pressure from halfway. He rallied grimly. He looks a thorough stayer, but these days the Grand National, certainly on good to soft ground, I don't think he'll quite be quick enough, and I do have my doubts whether his jumping will be good enough. Of the Cromwell horses, I much prefer Vanillier. Hewitt, he's around 12-1. Well, he'd be an emotional winner. Shark Cannon was banned. He looked like he'd almost been been thrown out the game early in the season, but he revised that on appeal. He's back training winners again. Hewitt, who only cost a few £100, it's well documented. Everyone's heard that story. He's got a terrific record, 6 from 17 over fences, but I think he's been pulled up when tried over this kind of trip in the past, and I do think his jumping could be an issue. I suspect he'll go well for a long way and not get home. I Am Maximus, well, he's popular because he won the race last year in 2024 for Willie Mullins, but he hasn't shown anything at all in 2 starts this season. Now, he's probably not been fit and they've been training him for the day, but the price around 12 to 1 certainly reflects that belief. I prefer to go on what my eyes tell me, and my eyes tell me he's not run well at all in 2 starts and he's a ridiculously short price. Not for me. Percival Legelois, 14 to 1. Well, he's been quite well backed in recent weeks and he comes from the Cromwell yard, so that could be significant. He's never run beyond 3 miles or raced outside of Ireland, but he's improving. He's a relentless galloper. He's the right sort of age. He could go well, but again, he's the sort of horse. He was 25 to 1 a couple of weeks ago. He's now 14. I think that's about his price. Nick Rocket, a 14 to 1 chance. Well, he's won 3 from 8 over fences, revelling in really testing ground to post improved form in Ireland in recent months. He's got stamina to prove, and he is now much higher in the weights, but obviously he's an improving 8-year-old from the top Mullins yard who's been targeted for this race. He's a very sound jumper, Nick Rocket. He's liable to be off the front, out the way, or certainly up there, which is always a good plan of attack these days at Aintree, out of all the bother, so I expect he will run very well. Grange Clare West, we're into the 20 to 1 chances and bigger now. Well, he's untried beyond 3 miles, but he does shape as though he'll stay. He's just been one of those horses who's fallen into a twilight zone this winter. He's not quite good enough for those sort of grade 1, 2, 3 races. He's too high up the handicaps to be competitive in the Saturday Heritage race. But I do think he's a lively outsider here. He's not been running too badly this season in races where he didn't have much realistic chance, and he could be the sort to run really well. Top connections, 20 to 1, one to have winning. Can Do Kid, 20 to 1. Well, Paul Nicholls has had a bit of a disappointing season despite his protestations. I think he's had over 100 winners again. Obviously, he's been plenty of prize money, but they've tended to be around the gaff tracks. The occasional Saturday winner. Can Do Kid, well, he's got Harry Cobden book, which is certainly a plus. He's an exuberant type. I don't think he'll stay 4 mile 2 when the chips are down up the long straight, and I think the Irish runners are better treated. Minella Kakuna, 25 to 1. Well, he's not been at his best all winter in warm company. I think younger, less exposed rivals may have his measure again. For all you can make a case, he's well handicapped on the pick of his form. One I think will go well, 3 Card Bragg, 25 to 1. Gordon Elliott, well, he took a lot of I think he took 28 races to have a winner at the Cheltenham Festival, Gordon, but he's had a good season again. 3 Card Bragg is unexposed. He impressed with his jumping and his attitude when winning over 3 miles at Navan in January. There's more to come from him. He's the right age. He's run 6 times over fences, around the 25 to 1 mark. I think he's an interesting runner. He lacks Aintree experience. He's not a certain stayer, but perhaps win only. I suspect he'd give you a good run for your money for a long way. Meeting of the Waters. This is another interesting runner around the 25 to 1 mark. They put the money on him in last year's Grand National behind I Am Maximus, and his very astute connections aren't usually far away. He went off 11 to 1 under Danny Mullins. He could only finish 7th, but watching that run back, I thought he ran quite well. Now, this season he's had 3 runs. He hasn't shown a great deal at all, but he could be a plot. And he is the sort of horse, if there was money for him on the day late, he's 25 to 1 at the moment in those McManus colours, you'd certainly sit up and take notice. A lively outsider. And finally, Highland. Nicky Henderson's got a dreadful record at Aintree. I don't think they've ever had one even finished for the last few years. He's a good ground 3 miler. He's better at Kempton. I don't think he's got an earthly. I don't think he'll stay 4 mile 2 on water ground. Not for me. It's 33 and upwards the rest, but it's Vanillier for me. 12 to 1. Gavin Cromwell. I think he can do the Gold Cup and Grand National double. Best of luck with all your Grand National wagers, betting experts, and please do check out our sponsor, Priced Up Bet, who bet extremely competitively on all of the Aintree races.